Curtis Calhoun with LowKick MMA, and today I'm joined by UFC light heavyweight contender Jimmy Crute. Jimmy, thanks again for your time. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on, mate. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, to start this off, we last saw you in the octagon against Anthony Smith at UFC 261. The fight ended after you injured your leg, obviously. How has the recovery been like for you, and what has the process been like?
Yeah, there was no real injury. It was just a little bit of nerve damage, which nerves take a long time to heal. But
right.
I was back training the next day in the hotel room, in hotel quarantine. I was back training, so it didn't really affect much. Obviously, I tried not to get kicked in that area a little bit in sparring for a few weeks, and then got the all clear from the doctor, and we're good to go.
Have you had an injury like that before, where you've had nerve damage and just the kind of feeling of that?
No, I think we're all the same. Us fighters have all been kicked in the leg 1,000 times,
right.
million times probably. Just one of those things. Hit me in the right spot.
And then you're slated to face Jamahal Hill in your next fight. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent, and how excited are you to get back in there before the year's end?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Me and Jamahal are similar in the rankings. We both need a win. I have nothing but respect for the guy, and I appreciate his abilities and stuff. But this one will prove who belongs to be in the rankings right now.
Is there word on a date and venue for your fight against Jamahal?
Am I allowed to say? I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
I don't know.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it'll be end of year. So just got pushed back a few things. Jamahal was obviously injured. Couldn't fight next month. Flights home very hard to come by at the moment because of COVID. And yeah, we got a date now.
What do you think a win will do for you in the light heavyweight division? Obviously, I'm sure you feel you're still on track to a light heavyweight title shot down the line. And even with the frustrating end to your fight, how close do you feel like you are to that opportunity?
Try not to think about it too much, mate. Every time I have thought about it, I've come up short. So just got to focus on what's next. I've got a good challenge in front of me, Jamahal. He's poses a good puzzle to solve, and I can't look past him. It's as simple as that. Every time that I've thought about the title or thought about what's next, it's kicked me in the ass a little bit. So just got to take it one fight at a time. Obviously, a win over Jamahal is going to establish me. I think I'm already established top 15 guy in the world. I think this puts me closer to the top 10. But I don't honestly, I couldn't give a fuck. Like I'm here to win fights.
What are your thoughts on Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira coming up at UFC 267? Obviously, it's a big fight for your division.
Yeah, they're two of my favorites. Two guys that have come back from adversity. Two guys that have gone way further in their career than they were supposed to have. So
right. And
I just hope the best man wins. I really like both of them. I've never met Jan, but Glover's such a nice guy. I got to meet him when I fought on the same card as him in Vancouver. And after the fight, he was just such a cool guy. So I'll be a fan for life, and I'm a fan for life with both of them. So for me, it's may the best man win.
Are you surprised that a guy like Glover that's been around the game for so long is still able to compete for title shots and all that?
Yeah, it's great. It's actually inspirational. It's same with Jan.
Right.
Jan was he on a 3-fight losing streak or something? Like he was about to get cut, and then all of a sudden goes on an 8-fight run, and look at him. So those are the sort of guys that you got to look to for inspiration when you feel down and out, or you lose a fight or whatever. Like look at these guys. Look at the Jans. Look at the Glovers. Look at all those sort of guys that picked himself back up and dusted himself off.
Right. And you've talked in the past about the relationship between you and your coach, Sam Greco. What's been his impact on your life and career to this point? Yeah,
Sammy's the man. I don't think there's much to be said that I haven't said already about Sammy. He's a mentor to me, and just the most loyal bloke you'll ever meet. He's the man.
Then you see guys across the board joining these big fight camps like American Top Team, Stanford MMA, et cetera. But what are some of the benefits of being a part of a smaller team and being kind of the main focus in training?
Yeah, so we get spoiled a little bit. Sima and Jay at Resilience with the two two like guys leading the charge fight wise, and you know, we always get spoiled by Daniel and all the coaches there. But the hardest part about doing your camps in Australia is trying to get fights at the moment, especially because of COVID. I wanted to have 4 fights this year, and I've only got 2. I barely got 2. So that's the hardest part. That's like the only enticing thing about going to the States would be to be more active and then get those late notice fill-in fights.
Right. And training in Australia, has your training regimen and your schedule been affected at all by COVID, or is it more or less just getting scheduled to fight and all that?
Getting scheduled to fight's the main one. Probably the hardest thing training-wise is being able to get guys in. You know, I wanted to do a trip to Sydney to see Rob and Jacob and all them boys. I think they wanted to come down to Melbourne and do a week block down here. So we can't travel interstate. We can't bring guys in. So it's just our little group at the moment. So if someone gets injured or someone gets sick, we're down a body, and it really affects it. So but we get the work done either way, so it's fine. But yeah, I look forward for Melbourne and Sydney to sort of open up so we can go down and train with other guys.
How big is the sport of MMA in Australia? Because I feel like with guys like yourself, you mentioned Robert Whittaker and Alexander Volkanovski. How big is the sport over there to the casual fans that may or may not know what the atmosphere is like?
Oh, it's sort of weird, mate. You know, some days you won't see anyone that knows what the sport is, and then some days you see 10 people that are fans. You know, it's growing by the day. That's the thing. I remember when I first started. I started when I started training when I was 12, and you know, I was the only one of my mates to train. No one else wanted to bar of it. No one else wanted to come train with me. And now, you know, you go to a jiu-jitsu school and they've got kids classes running. There was never a kids class running when I first started. No one wanted to do it. So yeah, it's grown a heap, and the media here is still a bit dirty on it, which sucks, you know. But I think it's getting better, and the more we have better role models representing the sport, it'll help that growth a hell of a lot.
How did you first get involved in combat sports?
I've always trained, like, even when I was a kid, I did karate, and, you know, my old man, he did boxing when he was younger. He did judo. He did a hell of a heap of stuff. So he sort of put me in it, not to fight or anything, but just for discipline. He put all the kids in it. And then I was the only one that stuck to it, and I was the only one that sort of fell in love with it. So, yeah, it's just something that I've always loved to do. I said I started training when I was 12. I actually started training judo when I was 8. And then, yeah, eventually moved on to jiu-jitsu when I was 12. And then, yeah, it's just something that I've always done.
And then we mentioned Robert Whittaker earlier. What are your thoughts on his upcoming title rematch against Israel Adesanya?
Oh, man. That one's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rob's my guy. Izzy's my guy too. I love Izzy. I look up to him heaps. But yeah, no, Rob's probably my all-time favorite fighter. So man, it's gonna be a tough fight for both, and it really depends who brings their A game on the night. Obviously, Izzy got the better in the first one, but I don't think that was the Rob Whittaker I don't think that was Rob at his best. I think that was a very burnt out Rob that let the pressure get to him a little bit. So I think Rob's addressed those issues, and you know, it's gonna be a different fight one way or another. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy for either of them, but it's gonna be a different fight than the first one.
Last question for me: what can fans expect to see from you when you return to the octagon later this year?
I don't want to sound cliche. Everyone says the same shit when they get asked this.
No, you're good.
They can expect someone who doesn't give a fuck, just going for the throat.
Absolutely. And before we go, I'll give you the final word to shout out any sponsors you may have, and let fans know where we can find you on social media.
Oh, yes. So massive shout out. I've got Vital Strength on board now. They've helped me a lot, seeing as I haven't haven't been able to get a fight this year, except for one.
Right.
My sponsor's been playing a really good part. So yeah, Vital Strength, Unibet Australia, and just jump on my socials, Jimmy Crute UFC. I think the Instagram is. I'm not actually on socials at the moment. I deleted them off my phone, but I'm still got my accounts there, so you can jump on to follow. I'll be back shortly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you get back in there, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, mate.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.